The art of felt making has been around for thousands of years. It is the oldest fabric to date and is believed to have originated in Asia in 6500 BC. While many other textiles have pushed felt off the mainstream market, one Pennsylvania woman wants to change that. Roseanne Kramer has been working with fiber for over 30 years. She began by learning how to spin wool into yarn, and since then her love for fiber and wool has transformed her life. While she graduated from Pennsylvania State University with a degree in chemical engineering, Rose realized that her true passion was with wool.
One winter, oh my gosh, it was winter snow. It was a major snowstorm. My kids were outside playing outside, and well, I have sheep, so I had the wool processed at a place in Michigan, and they sent big bags back of beautiful, clean, carded wool. And I thought, I'm going to try this felting while I'm watching the kids. And so I did. I thought, I'm going to make a pair of slippers. And usually to knit slippers, it takes days and days. Well, to felt, I just laid the fiber out, wet it, massaged it, and voila, I had a pair of slippers, and that was it. Love.
The felting process begins with the sheep. Rose lives on a farm at the bottom of a valley in Hendricks, Pennsylvania, where she raises two sheep, Zinni and Blossom. Felting consists of taking the wool from the sheep and applying water and soap to make the individual fibers attach together and create a fabric. The friction from rubbing the wool back and forth causes the kinks in the fibers to connect, producing a firm piece of felt.
Felt is basically tangled wool. And like I said, it dates back to ancient times. But the reason wool felts is if you looked under a microscope at one hair, there's these little ridges going up and down. Well, when you wet the wool, or even our hair, the ridges open. So when I start massaging, and I'll just take a little piece of wool, when I start massaging it, what happens is those ridges start grabbing onto each other. And the more I massage, the tighter it gets. And that's how felt is created. And the thing is, you don't need knitting needles, you don't need a loom, nothing. You just need your hand, water, and a little bit of soap. And an animal, of course.
Felting isn't just a hobby for Rose. She managed to turn her love into a business. Rose created Sheeps in the Meadow in 2000 after realizing that she could make a profit out of the products she was making. She started making little knickknacks and selling them at smaller craft and art shows. As time progressed, Rose expanded as a designer and now specializes in finely crafted felt wearables such as purses, scarves, hats, and other designs, each one uniquely different from the rest.
Well, it started at Sheeps in the Meadow workshops, and it progressed to Rose Kramer, felt maker, designer, and a much wanted, design purses and things. So, I'm really going into the art side of it now.
While Sheeps in the Meadow is a small business, a lot goes into the process of preparing for a show. Since it takes time to felt all of her products, Rose sometimes prepares months in advance for what she calls show season.
Well, you apply for the show usually 6 months in advance. So the shows I'm doing now, I would have applied and paid for. You have to buy a space. And so then about 2 weeks before the show is when you actually start gathering, making sure, counting what you have and making sure you have your props, your tables, your curtains. Oh, I had to have a booth made. Thank heavens my husband created the most beautiful booth. And, just make sure everything's in order. So the week of the show, you're really frantic. The day of the show is, everything's set up. So then I go and do the show. And then it usually starts at like 10 o'clock in the morning. The doors open and I have people that actually rush to my booth because they know that, if they don't get something, it's gone, because the things I make are one of a kind.
When Rose isn't preparing for a show, she can be found teaching classes about felting to others. Rose is a teacher at the Lambswool, a knitting store in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. She does all types of classes from beginning lessons on the basics of felting to more advanced classes. She also teaches others about spinning and the process of wool.
I teach classes in hand spinning, beginner hand spinning, and advanced hand spinning. And I also teach felt making, because a lot of people, when they come in my booth, when I tell them what real felt is, they get so interested, and of course they want to try it. So I connected with a wonderful little yarn shop in Lansdale, PA, and they actually had supplies there for hand spinning and felt making. So it was just perfect because I really didn't want to have supplies at my house for, teaching. So I go there and I teach students.
Even with all the stress that goes into running a business, teaching classes, and caring for her family, Rose remains positive and doesn't forget why she loves what she does.
Well, it's funny because when I think of everything I've done in my life, I mean, I enjoy working in pharmaceuticals in the lab, but when I started working with the textiles and felt making, it was an absolute passion. Till every day when I start making a purse, it's magical to me. It's magical to watch the wool, how it transforms into a purse, and it's also very unpredictable. I love the unpredictableness of it. Like I'll be laying out a design and I'll think it's going to be one way and it moves, and I like that. So it's a passion. It's just in me.